Ana Hashem, Ki ani Avcha. Ana Hashem, Ki ani Avcha. Ana Hashem, Ki ani Avcha. Ani Avcha, ben Amatecha. Ani Avcha, ben Amatecha. Ani Avcha, ben Amatecha. Pitachta lemoserai. Yeh Ratzon that the learning this week should be the refuat Morivi Rabbi Yehuda Glek Tanya Bat Hoda Margalit Betoch Kol Shar Cholei Yisrael. As we enter into Parsha Toldot, there are four main characters in the Parsha: Yitzchak, Rivka, Esav, and Yaakov. And there's one thing that's in common to all four characters. All four of them have something they want so deeply, and they lose in the Parsha. Yitzchak, from the beginning of the Parsha, wants Esav to continue. And at the end of the Parsha realizes that he lost what he wanted. Rivka wants one thing. She wants children. And she's presented in her life, at least at the beginning of the Parsha, without children. Esav wants the Bechora, wants the Bracha, and loses it. And Yaakov wants family. He wants the Bayit, he wants the Ohel. And at the end of the Parsha, goes out into exile and loses what he wanted so much. So we look at all characters in Parsha Toldot, and every single one goes through the experience of wanting something so much and it being lost and being broken. And to understand the depth of this experience, we'll enter into one of the four. To Rivka yearning and Yitzchak yearning for children. So in the beginning of the Parsha, we learn that there is no children in the home of Yitzchak. And it says in Perek Kaf Hey Pasuk Kaf Aleph, Vaye'etar Yitzchak la'Adonai lenochach ishto ki akarahi. And immediately Vaye'ater lo Adonai v'tahar Rivka ishto. So if we look deeper into the pasuk, the language is Vaye'ater Yitzchak leHashem lenochach ishto. And the end of the pasuk, Vaye'ater lo Hashem v'tahar Rivka. So the beginning is that there's something missing. The question is not what they're missing, but what does Yitzchak do with what's broken and what's missing? Vaye'ater Yitzchak laHashem lenochach Rivka ishto. He recognizes something so significant in the experience of what it means that something is missing in life. And to really understand this, the Midrash, Tanchuma, says, Avraham ishto akara. Avraham Avinu, the greatest leader, the founder of the Jewish people, ishto akara. V'Yitzchak, ishto akara. Vilama nitakru ha'imahot. Such a great question in the Midrash. I don't want to know the appearance, I want to understand it. Why Avram and Yitzchak, the founders of the Jewish people, both their wives are not giving birth to children? And the Midrash gives such an amazing answer. Amar Rabbi Levi b'shem Rabbi Shila dekvar timrata, v'Rabbi Chelbo b'shem Rabbi Yochanan, shehaya hakadosh baruch hu mitaveh letfilatan. Hashem was yearning for tefillah. Hashem wanted them to call out mitaveh letfilatan. Amar hakadosh baruch hu, ashirot hem. They have so much money. Na'otem. They're so beautiful. Imani noten lahem banim einan mitpalelot lefanai. Such an amazing midrash, and so problematic. The midrash identifies a simple appearance. The imot do not have children, and yells lama nitakru imahot. Why were they so barren? Why did they not have children? And the answer in the Midrash is that Hashem wanted tefillah. So I look at the Midrash and I say so clearly, is that really the definition of tefillah? That everything that the Yimot are going through, nitakru imahot, is in order for them to daven to Hashem? But maybe this Midrash is realizing the secret of what will define true relationship in any relationship, not just with Hashem. When we're in a relationship, there are two people. There's a husband and a wife, a teacher and a student, a father and a child. And in between those two people, there is always an object. There is always something that connects the two together. For a husband and wife, it's a house. For a student and a teacher, it's a classroom. So we have some sort of external object that connects people into a relationship. And at some point, they lose the objective that connects them. At some point, a father loves their child because they're always doing what they say. Oritan, Adiel, great kids. But they're 6 and they're 3. So I love them because they listen. But we'll give a little secret. There is a chance that they might rebel a little bit at the age of 14. So what used to connect you is lost. What used to relate you is broken. And then you recognize the quality of the relationship. Because there's another pasuk in the parsha that shows exactly this. In Breshit Parak Kaf Hey pasuk Kafchet, it says, "Vayehav Yitzchak et Esav." Relationship. Yitzchak, Esav, ki tzayid befiv. Suddenly there's an object. There's something external that connects them. V'rivka ohevet et Yaakov. No key. No object. No reason. And it's amazing at the end of the parsha, when Yitzchak wants to give the bracha to Esav, he says, Tzuda litzayid. There was something that was building the relationship. And in order for there to be the relationship, there needs to be that completion of the tzeidah, the tzayid, the object, the home, the ideal, the great relationship that's built on something. But when something is broken, then you get to realize a real question. Is there a real relationship that is independent to what's going on outside? Or do I need the outside in order to have the relationship? The Parsha makes us understand Vaye'ater Yitzchak LaHashem. He realizes that through the absence, when things are broken, when the Isha's akara, you're able to identify the quality of the relationship. Because then that's where tefillah begins. Tefillah says, do I see absence as the end, or do I make the absence into tefillah? Do I realize that even when things are broken, the relationship is that I use the challenge, I use the fact that things are broken to begin a new relationship, to speak about what's difficult and not only build the great ideal. So in essence, really tefillah is saying the secret of a relationship. In the parsha, every character loses something they want. But when they lose what they want, do they run away? Or do they run to the relationship? When I was thinking about a job, I had an interview with one of the greatest Rabbanim of our generation, Rav David Aaron. And whenever you get an interview, you think to yourself, all the great answers that you're going to answer. Why do you want to come here? And you have the list of 4 answers. So I walk in and he looks me straight in the eye and he says, Yair, what pains you? I'm coming for a job interview. I'm coming a teacher. Ask me the way I educate, what I teach, what I know, what I have. And Rabbi Aaron was teaching me that what identifies you is what do you do with pain? What do you do with absence? Do you build with it? Do you make a relationship? Or do you build a relationship that's defined by everything is the way I want it to be, and then when what I want it to be breaks, I lose the relationship? The greatest relationship that I've built in the last 9 years with my wife is very clear to me. Because outside, everyone sees the image of everything is the right way. But what identifies a relationship is not only can you know how great someone is, a relationship is not how great the other person is, but how great can your relationship be when things aren't great. Your greatness is what do you do when things aren't great. Your relationship is what do you do when there's akalut, when there's difficulty, when there are questions. And my wife has taught me day and day after day that obviously there are so many great experiences, but what identifies the root of the relationship is do you turn to each other when everything outside is broken. And the secret of tefillah, and the secret of what Rav Aaron taught me, and the secret of Parshat Toldot, is that what defines character is not do you get what you want, but do you make what you want out of the things that you don't want. Yitzchak and Rivka are in a relationship with Hashem. They don't want a karut. Tefillah is the bridge between realizing that when I don't want something, can I also build that to a relationship with what I really want, which is a constant conversation and not a momentary conversation. We should all have a bracha that our tefillot are aware of the absence, but not as a distance, but as a question mark. If we're far, then do we know how to call out? If we're distant, do we know that it means that we're yearning? And we should all have the bracha when we enter into the Chodesh of Kislev, to the lights of Hanukkah, that the fire asks us, are you yearning? Do you see that right now the Hanukkah begins with 1 candle, not 8? It's absent. But that absence is what lets you build. It's what lets you create something between 2 people, and not just something that's dependent on something outside. And with that bracha, we should all build real relationships in wherever we are in the world. Shabbat Shalom.